everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Johnna, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and give it a like so other people can see the value in it. And if you're coming back, I appreciate you so much. I want to talk today about booking the cruise. This is a very important step, and there are certain things you can do for added success to your trip, and that's what we're going to talk about. Booking the wrong cabin or the wrong time or the wrong cruise ship can be the difference in night and day of your vacation. So let's start about where we want to go. If you have more than one thing or one place you want to venture to, make a list of those. Now, say you want to go to Alaska, or you want to go to the Mexican Riviera, or you want to go to the Caribbean, or you want to do a transatlantic cruise. Write all those down because we're going to have to seek out information on all of those. The other thing is, what is your time frame? Are you flexible? Because going during a busy period is going to make it a little tougher. Number one, the cruise ships are going to fill up faster. Number two, the price is going to be more. And number three, it might not be what you want because it may be overcrowded. If you go during a summer break or Easter break or any of the school holiday breaks, when the weather is perfect, these are all times when it is going to be a little tougher to find the cabin you want, tougher to find the price you want, and have the most relaxing time unless you want to be on a very crowded ship. So I've made these mistakes. I've gone during an Easter break, and it is the difference in night and day. Also, the amount of children, the type of ship you want to go on. So I picked Princess because it has less children. Now, I know you may have children and want to go on a ship that has children, and that's fine too. There's a variety of ships to pick from: Royal Caribbean, NCL, Carnival, ships that have the slides and the go-karts and the rock climbing and all those things that are great activities for kids. Now on Princess, they do have kid activities, and they have specialized areas where they go with their age group and do all sort of fun activities. The first thing you have to decide, what do you want out of the ship? So I'm going to tell you my take through Princess, but remember, a lot of the things I talk about are going to still matter on the ship you pick, even if you pick a ship that is not Princess. So the first thing is, you're going to find where you want to go. Do you want to go on an Alaska cruise? Do you want to go on a Caribbean cruise? Do you want to go on a transatlantic cruise? All sorts of things you have to take in consideration. One, weather. What kind of weather are you looking to have on your cruise? Two, how many sea days? If you're doing a repositioning, transatlantic, trans-Pacific, or a cruise that's going far, you may have a lot of sea days. Now, I am going on a cruise in the fall to Hawaii. I have 5 sea days going over and 5 sea days coming back. It's a 16-day cruise. I do go to the Hawaiian Islands, which I'm very much looking forward to, but you have to be okay with those days at sea, and not everyone is. A lot of people really are looking forward to the ports. They don't want to be more than 1 or 2 days at sea. For me, it doesn't matter because I enjoy being at sea, and sometimes I don't even care if I get off at the port. So everyone has a different expectation on what they want. So figure out what kind of cruise you want. Do you want the warm weather? You want to go to a private island? You want to go to a foreign country and see what's there? You want to go to Europe? You want to, there's Italy and France and Spain. Or do you want to go to the Caribbean? Do you want to go to Mexico? Do you want to go to Hawaii or Alaska? There's a lot of places to pick from. That's the first thing you have to decide. Then let's decide on our timeline, because we want to go when hopefully it isn't as busy. Unless you're going and you have kids or your family has that time off and you have to go during that time, then yeah, that's when you have to go. But if not, try to go a little bit on the off season. This is where the ship won't be as crowded and won't be as hectic. Now, when I say crowded, it could be fully booked, whether it's during the season or on an off season, but it'll be max capacity. Remember, they figure 2 people to a cabin, but you can have 4 people in that cabin. So you may be on a cruise where, let's say, every cabin has 2 people, and you could be on a cruise where 75% of those cabins are at max capacity of 3 to 4 people in the room. That's going to be double the amount of people on that ship. So keep all that in mind. Now, once you decide where you want to go, you want to find the ship you want to go on. You want to print off the deck plans. Now, I know this sounds like probably a lot of work, but this is probably one of the most important things you can do. You need to know where everything is on that ship before you get on. Mainly because the first thing you're going to do is select your cabin. You don't want your cabin to have a pool deck above it, or the Princess Theater or the theater of whatever ship you go on. You don't want to have maybe the buffet or a restaurant or a nightclub. You want to make sure, or how about the water park or the slides and all the things the kids go on, the go-karts. You want to make sure that above you are other cabins. Below you are other cabins, and on either side of you are other cabins. Another thing you don't want to be too close to are the elevators. Yes, for access, you want to be close, but you don't want to be right there where people are coming and going. Or the stairs, same issue there. You also don't want to be close by where there are service areas, like the room stewards where they keep their things, or maybe where the laundromat is. You don't want to be right next door to that laundromat. Also, if you see on the deck a blank spot, that blank spot is going to be where maybe there's an engine room, or maybe the restaurant galley is there, and you want to make sure that your room isn't really backed right up to that. Is look at where the spa and the gym are. This could be an area where people are going on those treadmills early in the morning, and it's right above your room. So check on that. Now, for your cabin position, if you feel that you're going to get motion sickness of any kind, you want to make sure that you are as close to the middle of the ship and as low on the ship as you feel comfortable. Now, you can be real low, like deck 5. Deck 4 is where you enter and where the medical room is, so you won't be there. But they start deck 5, and then on Princess, 6, 7, and 8 are the piazzas, so those are active areas. So I don't really want to be on 5. I might have something, I might be right underneath the piazza and have that noise above me. So I tend to go up a little bit past the piazza, and there's 8, which I do not pick, 9, which sometimes I don't pick because sometimes that is where the lifeboats are, and I'll get into that. But 10, 11, and 12 are usually a pretty sweet spot. They're still low enough on the ship that you won't get a lot of motion, and as center to the ship as you can be is best. If you're midship, that is the best. If you go towards the back, you're going to have more. That's where the engines may be. But you really get a lot of movement when you go to the front of the ship, because that's where it's hitting the wake. Now, both the front and the rear of the ship get more motion, obviously, than the center. The center is balanced. All the ships have stabilizers, and I don't really feel they're bad unless you get into some really bad weather. And they try to avoid that and go around it, but you do want to stay until you know how you're going to react as close to the center. That is the most comfortable place on the ship for motion sickness. It's also a good area to where you're cocooned with other rooms. spots, okay? So there's rooms next to you, above you, below you, and you're not going to have to worry about activity. Now, it is a little bit of work, but this is so important for making your journey and vacation peaceful as possible. Now, what kind of room are you going to get? If you have a balcony room and you have unobstructed view, you want to make sure that you are not on the floor where the life rafts are because there is obstruction. And you'll be able to see this on the schematics when you on the deck plans when you print it out or when you look at them. And it's really easy to find these. You can find them actually on the website for the cruise line, or you can Google the name of the ship that you're going to be on and put deck plans, and it'll give you all the deck plans. It does take a little work, but like I said, it will benefit you in the end tremendously. Okay, so if you're finding some value in this, give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done already. Let's get back to what we need to know about picking the right cabin. You want to make a list of things that are important to you. Are you going to spend every night going to the Princess Theater and seeing the shows? Or are there activities you want to do every day? Or just being close to the piazza important to you? Or what dining room are you going to be dining in? You may want your room to have fairly close access to that, not right next to it, of course, but maybe a floor or two above so you don't have to go too far, and you could even take the stairs up or down if you needed to. Are you going to spend a lot of time on the Lido deck? Are you one that likes to lay out and sunbathe? Are you going to be going to the spa, the sanctuary, the gym? Know all these things that you feel that you're going to be using. And if you're not certain about it, then you just have to think what you think you're going to be doing. And then on your next cruise, if it changes, you can change your venue or where your cabin is. But getting the right placement of your cabin is going to make the difference in your journey. You're going to either be spending a lot of time walking around, a lot of time not feeling well because you're seasick, or a lot of time not getting a lot of rest because you have the Princess Theater or the pool deck right above you and you're not getting any rest. They're waking you up at 6 in the morning when they're putting the lounge chairs out, or the theater's going late at night and you're tired and you went to your room to go to bed early. So, no. Another thing that I am booked in the spring of next year for a back-to-back cruise. I got a cruise offer, and if you know anything about my channel, I get a lot of casino offers, and I got a casino offer, and it's good for up to 3 sailings. So I took 2 of the 3 sailings and did a back-to-back. I'm staying on the same ship, and I tried to get the same room, but in the location that I wanted, I got the room. They actually back up to one another, so I will have to change rooms. But a great thing to do is try to get the same room or a room that is fairly close to where you want to be. So if you have, say, room 301, then maybe you get room 302. Try to get the same room on both sailings. You won't have to move your stuff at all. If you do have to move your things, the room stewards help you with this. You'll have to ask them, you still have to pack up like you would if you were getting off the ship. But I think a lot of times, like the things in the closet and stuff like that, they'll actually move for you. You won't have to pack. You will have to take any personal items, your cash, your passport, your phone, all your personal items. You will take them with you on the morning when everyone is disembarking, and you sometimes have an area to go to. Sometimes you actually do have to get off the ship, but sometimes you don't. And what I typically do is I go to the restaurant and have breakfast and wait it out because I am going to be one of the first people on the ship, because they let the people that are doing back to back either stay on or get right back on. You do have to go through and check your identification and all that again. or doing a back-to-back, that's something you want to do, is determine if you can stay in that same room. That's ideal. Then you don't have to move anything. You just leave your stuff and come back. Another thing you might want to check is, like on Princess, there are laundry rooms. So you want to have fair access to the laundry room and not have to go too far. But I don't think you want to be right next to it, because then you get a lot, on people are doing that either early in the morning or late at night, so it doesn't interfere with their day, or maybe when you're trying to rest, people are in there doing their laundry. So I would suggest, if you want to be close to the laundry, then yes, and it's on every floor, pretty much on all the Princess, but just check where the laundry is and your access to it. The lifeboats. Now, the lifeboats, if you have a balcony room or a ocean view, you want to make sure that you aren't looking out at the lifeboats. Now, if you purchase an obstructed view, this may be the case. But if you purchase a room that's unobstructed, you just want to make sure that that's actually what you're getting. If you put a bid in, you can put a bid in after, I know on Princess, if you're between 1 and 24 days cruising, you can put a bid in at 85 days before you set sail. Remember, if you put a bid in for a room, you don't have a choice of where that room's going to be. And once they accept the offer, it's yours. There's no changing your mind. So make sure you're willing to accept a room wherever they decide. And usually these are rooms, not always, but a lot of times, they're rooms that are hard to fill. So that's why they're putting you there. Or it could be a room that they've moved someone else out of to give them an upgrade, and they're moving you into their room. Or someone who canceled at the last minute. So there's a lot of reasons why you would be able to um, get a room. And there's pretty much always rooms to bid on. They will send you an email. You may not always have a choice to be able to do it, but if you are, then it's something you can look into. But remember, the selection of the location of that room is not going to necessarily be where you want it. Now, if you're in an interior cabin and you put a bid in for a balcony because you really want a balcony, and you end up with an obstructed view, then it still may be very well worth it to you because you have a balcony and that's important to you. So really weigh out your options before you put in for that bid, because like I said, once it's accepted, that's it. And if you're a solo cruiser like me, just know that you are going to pay 200% of whatever the bid is. So if you bid $100 on the room upgrade, it's going to be double occupancy, even if you're only a solo cruiser, and it's going to be $200. So the value has to be there for you. Once you pick your room, I always like to, I do look at the bids, but honestly, I'm always happy with the room I pick. And I pick the location and I really seek it out and I do all this looking at the decks and everything. And I get a little leery because I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be right over the pool deck. I'm going to have maybe a balcony, but it's going to be in a noisy area and I'm not going to get the peace, or it's going to be in an area where there's a lot more motion to the ship and that's going to give me no peace. So really weigh your options. I know a lot of people have had great success with doing bid upgrades and other people have wished they hadn't done it. So talking about bid upgrades, you can bid on more than one room, one upgrade. You can say do an ocean view from an interior or a balcony or a suite. You can have multiple bids. They're only going to give you one, but you can put in multiple. The other thing is, if you get a bid and you go to, say, a suite, and in the suite it is in a sanctuary area or a reserve area where you have amenities that you've already paid for, say it includes the drink package. You've already paid for your drink package, you will not get a refund on that drink package. So know that going in, that if you've already paid for something and you change rooms and it's included, you don't get that credit back. Where do you feel you're going to spend a lot of time? Now, for me on Princess, I love the piazza. When I have really nothing to do, I'll stroll through the piazza and I'll listen to maybe music that's going on or engage in an activity. They play games and do things there. And the International Cafe is usually right there, and so you can get yourself a snack, and that's open 24 hours, and you can sit and just enjoy the ship. It's beautiful in the piazza. It's 3 stories, and it just all kinds of things going on. If you're going to spend a lot of time there, you want your room to be fairly close to where you're going to spend a lot of time, because you can take a lot of time waiting for elevators on a cruise. People are always going on the elevator, and if you can take the stairs for a couple floors, that's great. But if you want to spend a lot of time on, say, the Lido deck or the Sanctuary, those are on the upper floors, then you want your room to have access to that. If you want to be in the piazza, which is the center, you want your room adjacent to that in some way. That's why when I pick my room, I usually pick 10, 11, or 12. I'm kind of in the middle. If I go down to the piazza, which are 6, 7, and 8 typically, or if I go up to the Lido, 15, 16, 17, what have you, then if I have those rooms in the center, I'm kind of close to both. Not real close, but you don't want to be real close to a lot of that activity. Another thing is when you're midship, the nice thing is you're in the middle. So you only have halfway to go to the front or halfway to go to the aft. And that is great. If you're in the aft and you're spending a lot of time in the forward of the ship, that's a lot of walking to do to get to where you want to go all the time. So that's another thing with being centrally located that could help. Now, I have a lot of information about different things on cruising, a lot of things on how I get my cruising for very cheap. I'm going to Hawaii for under $15 a day and a 16-day cruise, and I will put that at the end, so if you want to look at that video. But I have a lot of videos coming with how to get these free casino cruises and what free really means. And also know that when you get the cruise offers, you get multiple offers. It's not just one offer. So when people say, oh, I spent $500 in the casino, or like me, $700 in the casino, what did I get? Well, so far, I have a 16-day cruise and 2 7-day cruises that I'm going on. I could have booked many more. I had great offers for actually cruises that I got money back by $20 or $40 even after my deposit, that were going to Europe, Spain, Italy, France, England, and the ones I have going to the Mexican Riviera, actually I am getting on each one of those 2 cruises. I have 2 7-day cruises going back to back. I'm getting $20 back on each one. So I'm actually making $20. Now, yes, I have my airfare, and yes, I have my transportation to and from the ship, but everyone does. So if any of those interest you, stay tuned to the channel and make sure you like, subscribe, and share the videos with other people. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy sailing, everyone.